Paul Kagame. You may be seated. Good afternoon, Your Excellencies. Your Excellency President Duda, a very warm welcome to Rwanda. Your Excellencies, we will proceed right away with the signing of agreements. The two memorandums of understanding between the Republic of Poland and the Republic of Rwanda will be signed by Poland's Secretary of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Andrzej, and Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Vincent Biruta. The first agreement is on bilateral trade and economic cooperation. The second agreement is on cooperation in the field of green technologies, environmental engineering, geology, and energy efficiency. Let's have a handshake, please. Handshake, please. Dziękuję. Thank you. This marks the end of the signing ceremony. Your Excellencies, we welcome you to address the media before we proceed to take questions from them. President Kagame, may I invite you to deliver your remarks.
Excellency, Andrzej Duda, President of the Republic of Poland, senior officials from Poland and Rwanda, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. President Duda, once again, it is an honor to welcome you and your delegation to Rwanda. Rwanda and Poland share strong bonds of friendship and collaboration for many years. The government of Poland has contributed directly to our country's development, and we are very grateful for this. A notable example is Poland's long-standing support to the School and Education Center for visually impaired children in Kibeho. The institute is bringing positive change in the lives of many, and that is not something we take for granted. I therefore thank you very much. Our partnership in the field of education has also yielded positive results, with many Rwandan students studying in Polish universities today. Mr. President, I look forward to attending the Rwanda-Poland Business Roundtable discussions with you later today. This gathering will be a chance for our private sector to explore trade and investment opportunities and strengthen our economic ties. Our two countries just signed agreements in the field of green technology, environment, energy, and trade. The development of these sectors is critical to becoming resilient and adapt to the new reality of intersecting global shocks. All in all, Mr. President, we have accomplished a lot together. The diplomatic presence in our respective countries will only serve to accelerate and solidify the good progress we are making. Your Excellency, once again, thank you for coming to Rwanda. I'm confident we will continue seeing the results of this strong partnership. I hope you and your delegation will enjoy your stay with us. I thank you for your kind attention, and may I now invite you, Mr. President, to deliver your remarks.
Ekscelencjo, Panie Prezydencie, Szanowni Państwo,
Ladies and gentlemen,
przede wszystkim bardzo serdecznie
first and
dziękuję
foremost, I would like to thank very warmly His Excellency Mr. President Paul Kagame for his invitation to pay this official visit here in Rwanda,
delegacją.
along with the Polish delegation.
Dla mnie bardzo wzruszające.
To me, it is very moving and at the same time extremely important because this is the first official visit paid by the head of the Polish state, by the President of the Republic of Poland here in Rwanda. Right from the start, since we have diplomatic relations between our two countries since 62 years, which means this is a very important moment. But let me stress very strongly my deep gratitude for Mr. President Kagame for intensification of these relations between Poland and Rwanda over the last years. It was Rwanda who opened its embassy in Warsaw. It was Rwanda who accepted the first Polish entrepreneurs here. It was Minister of Foreign Affairs of Rwanda, who is present with us here today, Mr. Vincent Biruta. Was present in Poland 2 times over the last 2 years and a half. I also had meetings with the minister. Today will be another meeting of Polish and Rwandan business people here in Rwanda, in Kigali. They will discuss their mutual relations. They will discuss the development of their joint economic projects and the development of their businesses. We are delighted with this in Poland. We are searching for credible partners in African countries. Especially, we are looking for partners who subscribe to the values which we also share, who are able to understand us as well. Together with our complicated history, we have no doubt whatsoever that here in Rwanda, in this respect, we do find understanding and we do find friends. Even more so, this visit is to me very valuable indeed. We Poles are a society of hardworking people, but at the same time, we understand the worth of our work. And we are deeply convinced that precisely thanks to this hard work, we're able to achieve the most. Nothing will come by itself. It has to be worked out with diligent and honest effort. We know that independence and sovereignty is not given once and for all, because over the last 200 years, we lost it, and not once. We lost it at the end of the 18th century. We lost it in the 20th century. As a matter of fact, through the Second World War, through the fact that later, for more than 40 years, we were part of the Russian sphere of influence as a not fully sovereign, not fully independent country. Then we regained our independence thanks to solidarity, thanks to the support of the Holy Father, John Paul II. But before, we went through the drama of the Second World War, of a horrible hecatomb, which claimed lives of 6 million Polish citizens murdered during the Holocaust, murdered during the Nazi occupation, and also through the Soviet terror, deported to Siberia. They died in fights. We went through horrible tragedies. And today, we understand what a peaceful and systematic and peaceful development stands for. And that is exactly what we want. We want to have a stable, peaceful development. We want to build our prosperity. We want to build our wealth far away from all the wars, far away from all the conflicts. We have no doubts whatsoever that here in Rwanda, we are finding such friends who understand us exactly and who would like to have exactly the same for themselves. They would like to have a peaceful development. They would like to be able to build up their prosperity, their businesses. They want to have a peaceful life in their homes and among their families. That is why I firmly believe that we can build very deep relations between our two countries also for the future. Today, we have signed 2 agreements between Poland and Rwanda, agreements concerning cooperation, also in the area of high technologies, joint actions concerning environmental protection. However, I do believe that these relations will be deepened and furthered also through students, also through the youth who are already studying in Poland, the youth from Rwanda. I hope that these numbers will increase. We would like our Polish universities to present their broader offers, educational offers in Rwanda. Today, I invited also the Rwandan youth interested in military studies to come and study at our military universities, to use our educational offer in top-class standards. Today, we also discussed with Mr. President Kagame also hopefully future investments. Today, I will have a pleasure to visit a joint Polish-Rwandese investment, that is Luna smelter, tin smelter plant here in Rwanda, which was restructured by joint efforts, Polish-Rwandan efforts, and today it is co-run by a Polish company. So we can say that this is a role model of good cooperation. In Rwandese market, we have got a series of Polish companies present. Among the most well-known one, there is ASECO, working in cybersecurity and IT services, but there are also simple, small family businesses of those who decided to come here and invest their money in small businesses, in hotels, in tourist sector. So Poles right now are present already now here in the Rwandese market, and I do hope that their numbers will increase, because the most promising sectors of cooperation are precisely the energy sector mentioned before, city infrastructure, agriculture, machine industry, food industry appliances, construction management, including crisis management and also water management, ICT, which is already mentioned, cybersecurity, where we already have the cooperation today. Ladies and gentlemen, we have also talked with Mr. President about security in our regions for both our countries. Be it for what I said before, I mentioned the very difficult past, also the very difficult past of Poland. The situation of peace and calm is of fundamental importance. Today, unfortunately, we are witnessing Russian aggression against Ukraine. This has been happening for almost 2 years, from the 24th of February, 2022. This is the so-called full-scale invasion. But please bear in mind that this invasion really started back in 2014, when Russia started, as a matter of fact, to occupy Donetsk, Lugansk, and Crimea. Over the last 2 years, we have received a few million Ukrainian refugees. Some of them went to other places across the globe. Some of them stay in Poland until this day. Polish people support them, sharing their bread, their belongings with them, receiving Ukrainian refugees to their homes. We do understand what Russian aggression stands for. We understand what Russian occupation stands for. And we have a perfect understanding what it means that the Russian army ruins the houses and rapes. We know that perfectly well, because also Poland, also our nation, lived through that. And today, when somebody is in such a need, they receive our support. We do support Ukraine, and we will continue to do so. If Rwanda is at risk, we will also provide assistance to Rwanda and support. That is why we are discussing education, including military education, to make sure that Rwanda, through its youth who are ready to defend their country in case of any attack, is safer. We also hope to develop in the future cooperation between our defense industries, and this was also the topic of our conversation today with Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow I will have a meeting with the ones who represent Poland, who have been here in Rwanda for dozens of years. I'm thinking here about our nuns and missionaries who have been working first and foremost in Kibeho. We will visit them. This is an important place where they are carrying out their duties. Their duty here is providing spiritual support, but also other kind of support to the Rwandan population. They are present with them here. They are close with them. They are our wonderful ambassadors for tens of years, as I have said. Tomorrow we will meet them. Mr. President, I'm so much grateful to you for the possibility of paying this visit. This is quite far away here from Kigali. It is a 3-hour drive by car. Still, we are delighted to have this opportunity tomorrow. Mr. President, once again, with all my heart, we are grateful for this exceptionally warm reception. I'm thankful for the possibility to have conversations with you, Mr. President, and with representatives of Rwandese authorities. Mr. President, we are very much grateful for being so open to the Polish businesses, for the possibility of having yet another business meeting here today in Kigali, the round table of business companies from both countries. I'm happy that business communities will discuss under our patronage as presidents, because this is hugely important for tightening of the cooperation when the top authorities of the state give a green light for their activity. Once again, Mr. President, I would like to invite you very warmly, together with your wife and delegation, to pay a visit in Poland. We hope that this visit will come soon, and we congratulate you on the development of Rwanda, which you can see here at first glance. It is a country of hardworking people, of ambitious people, who want to build their prosperity and who take care of their homeland. Congratulations, Mr. President, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, President.
Thank you, Your Excellencies. We will now take 2 questions from members of the press, and we'll start with our guests.
Grzegorz Tkaczyk, Fakty TVN. Panie prezydencie,
Grzegorz Tkaczyk, Fakty TVN television. Mr. President, how credible do you think is what Donald Trump says, that if he is elected the president of the United States, he will put an end to the conflict in Ukraine within a very brief period of time? Is it realistic, according to you, and how would that happen? And how realistic is now the threat with war from Russia to Poland? And the question to President Kagame, speaking about the conflict in Ukraine, how is it perceived in Rwanda from the perspective of a global threat and crisis? Let me say the following. Let me start with the potential threat of a Russian attack against NATO states, because I understand this is your question when you are asking about a potential attack on Poland, because this is what you need to assess it like. This would be an attack against North Atlantic Alliance, which would need to spark an obvious response of NATO resulting from Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty. So let me put it this way. Of course, such a potential threat theoretically exists, given the situation that certainly we're seeing the rebirth of Russian imperialism, and without any doubt, Russia attacked Ukraine, not only by partly secretive way, as it happened in 2014, when seemingly separatists started to occupy Donetsk and Lugansk, when Russia really started the occupation of Crimea. As a matter of fact, we know perfectly well that it was simply Russia who occupied those lands right from the start. Later, almost 1 year ago, on the 24th of February, we saw a full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, which is happening until this day. So without any doubt, we are seeing the rebirth of imperial Russian dreams, Russian ambitions, which have to be stopped if they can cause an attack on NATO, on Poland. If Poland is weak, then for sure a threat of such a potential attack will increase. If Poland is weak, if Poland is strong, if Poland has strong, well-equipped armed forces, that such probability obviously will dramatically decrease. Why? Suffice it to look at the war in Ukraine, at the defeat that the Russian army is suffering there against refined and highly technologically advanced equipment which is delivered to Ukraine from the West, and heroism of Ukrainian soldiers. I have no doubt about the heroism of the Polish soldier, and I have no doubts whatsoever in defending his homeland. I have no doubts that if the Polish soldier is well equipped, and we have entered into a whole series of contracts for state-of-the-art equipment for the armed forces right now, if we complete these contracts, if we also modernize our helicopter base, first and foremost attack helicopters, I'm thinking here about the potential contract for Apache helicopters, then for sure Poland will be very strong with HIMARS artillery launchers, Chunmo launchers, with main battle tanks, which we are buying from the United States and from South Korea, with howitzers, which we are producing ourselves. I'm thinking here about Krab and K9 howitzers from Korea, South Korea. I'm thinking also about adding new fighters, the purchase of F-35 fighters, which just in a few moments will be in the hands of Polish pilots who are completing their trainings in the United States, and soon they will be given Polish F-35s to fly them. I'm thinking about Fa-50. These are fighters that we're getting right now from South Korea. These are huge purchases which are in the pipeline right now. We also have, on top of that, our own production. I'm thinking about Piorun manpads, for instance. Having said that, this is happening right now. We have our new Borsuk APC, armored personnel carrier, and I believe it will be successful not only in Poland, but it also be a Polish export success. So this process has to be completed. If it is successful, and I do believe it will be successful, then it will mean a huge strengthening of the Polish defense potential, and then the probability of a Russian attack on us drops to a minimum. In my opinion, it is eliminated, because Polish armed forces will be able to put up defense on themselves to defend our homeland, and supported by NATO and especially by the US armed forces, whose soldiers are present in Poland right now. For sure, it will be able to repel any attack immediately. I have no doubt about that. This is my response to your question. And I believe that Vladimir Putin will think many times before he attacks any NATO country, because he has recently seen firsthand what difference it makes if you look at technologically advanced equipment between what NATO states have at their disposal and between what Russia has at its disposal right now. So, having said that, I have no doubts whatsoever. The strengthening of our armed forces means the strengthening of our security. It means absolute decrease and minimalization of the attack on the Russian side and any other attack. And this is what it is all about. That is why we are implementing the program, and among others, we have adopted an act on the defense of homeland, and among others, we have entered into all the contracts, and I hope this will be continued. And in answer to the first question, a brief answer. Sir, you have to ask this question to President Donald Trump, who probably will be running for presidency also in the upcoming election. But let me say the following. I can give you my personal experience as President of the Republic of Poland, who used to work, cooperate with President Donald Trump when he was in office as president. So far, he's been president once. So the commitments that he made vis-a-vis myself were kept. Those commitments have been kept. So if there was a promise made by President Donald Trump, if President Donald Trump promised something to me, he kept his word. So looking from this vantage point, I can say, yes, President Trump keeps his word. When he says something, he treats it seriously. That is as much as I can tell right now. Thank you.
Right. For the part of my question, first of all, I want to make make it clear. I think with the time, the world, including Rwanda, gets to learn how we are so closely interconnected across the world. What is happening between Russia and Ukraine, or in that whole region, or any other part of the world, even thousands of kilometers away, say from here. What is happening there affects us so many thousands of kilometers away from where whatever is happening is taking place. So we learn lessons with time and with different things happening. So here in Rwanda, the general population, even at that level, follows the events, follows what is happening there, and they even feel the effect of it in different ways. You have heard of the energy crisis that has created, or fertilizer, or even food in terms of grain. What has happened affects not only Rwanda, but the whole continent. So that is the starting point of how Rwandans know what is happening across the world, and also how even across the continent, people get to be, in real sense, understanding what is going on. So that explains almost everything. But it teaches us how small the world is actually, among other things. One thing happening here affecting people so far away. Not only does it speak to interconnection, but it also speaks to how this distance shrinks because of that fact. So, and for ordinary people, or even others in Rwanda, the immediate thing, because they are dealing also with their own problems, affecting them directly, because even of the sheer size of Rwanda, not that big to have any impact on what it could do, but somehow can make a contribution. People just wish that whatever is happening of that nature that we witness today would come to an end. I'm sure many people don't know how that would come to an end. It just comes from the wish, originating also from frustration, from sometimes being helpless in their own settings. So that is the perception, that is the feeling, that is, it is one, how interconnected we are, even how close we are in actual sense, and how we are affected, and then how some people even feel there is not so much they can contribute to settling whatever problem and addressing the underlying causes of that, but wish that for that to end, so that in that part of the world they can have peace, and by extension, even people in Rwanda would have peace and have not much coming from there affecting their daily lives. That is because of many constraints my country has. That is how far I can go in explaining and answering your question.
Thank you, Your Excellencies. We will now take the last question from Kigali today.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. My name is Edmund Kajire. I work for Kigali Today on KT Press. My question goes to both heads of state. Poland, just like Rwanda, experienced a difficult history. President Duda touched it a bit. What can the two countries learn from each other as Rwanda plans to mark 30 years after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi? I would like to hear from you, your heads of state. What do you envision that the two countries can do bilaterally to develop the citizens of the two countries? Thank you very much.
Can go first.
Ekscelencjo, Szanowny Panie Prezydencie, Szanowni Państwo.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, sir.
Siłą rzeczy, odpowiadając na
Well, my nature of things, when answering this question, I have to come back to what I said before in my opening remarks. Yes, indeed, we do have in our history, for us it's a more distant history, and for the society of Rwanda, this is a more recent history, which happened 30 years ago, more or less. We both have very, very difficult, extremely dramatic, extremely painful experiences. But if you look at such extremely painful experiences, apart huge suffering that they cause, and sometimes it is extremely difficult to cure your heart. On those experiences, you also build the nobility of human being, their sensitivity to the needs of another human being. Also, a person living next to them, also their neighbor wants to live in peace. You come to that understanding. They want to live in a world of good, in a world when they can peacefully develop, where they can realize their dreams, bring up their children, build their prosperity. And this is the value that I think we share, both in Rwanda as well as in Poland. I also think that our societies, both the Polish society and the Rwandese society, are the societies which are able to work hard and consistently to achieve success. It is extremely important. We Poles know how to work very hard to be successful. Here, right now in Rwanda, you can see that also the society of Rwanda, under good government, is working in a very consistent, calm way to achieve success. You can see it on the streets of Kigali. You can see it when you look at Rwanda. I'm speaking this out loud because a lot of my compatriots in Poland can hear these words. They can be potential business people who can come here and invest their money and who can also look at Rwanda as a place to develop their businesses, their activities. This is a country which, for sure, puts in place adequate conditions to do that, and I have no doubt about that. And people living here understand what it means, as I said before, to work hard, peacefully, to achieve success in a consistent way, with honest work. This is incredibly important. And I address these words to my compatriots. This is a country of wonderful, beautiful nature, wildlife, of very good climate. And I think that anybody who comes from Poland to Rwanda, as a tourist or as a person with business plans, for sure will be hugely impressed. And for sure they will be just amazed with the nature and with the climate, with the wildlife that you have here. This is a beautiful, wonderful part of the African continent.
Można powiedzieć, że
You can
taki
say that
dar
this
dla
is
tutejszego
a gift
społeczeństwa od Pana Boga,
from
że ma
God
tak-
for the people
tak
here.
tak piękne
The
otoczenie,
gift of
które
such a
daje zarazem
beautiful
tak wielkie
nature and
możliwości
surroundings, which
rozwoju.
opens up such a huge
Nie mam
possibilities
co do
for
tego
development at the same
wątpliwości,
time. I
że-
have no doubt
że
whatsoever
Rwanda
that
rozwija się
Rwanda
znakomicie
is
i że-
developing in an
że-
excellent
że-
way,
że z całą
and
pewnością
that for
stanowi dzisiaj
sure
absolutną
today
czołówkę
it
rozwojową,
constitutes the top
Afryki.
on the
Tym
African
bardziej, że byłem
continent
już
in
w
terms of
szeregu
development.
krajów afrykańskich
I have
i
visited a
mogę
whole series of
powiedzieć
African
tutaj
countries,
z
and
całą
being here I can say
odpowiedzialnością.
that, and I can take
Dlatego
full
zachęcam
responsibility for my
wszystkich
words. That is why I
rodaków do
encourage all my
zainteresowania się
compatriots to get
potencjalnymi
interested
możliwościami
in
gospodarczymi,
potential economic
inwestycyjnymi
possibilities,
tutaj
investment
w Rwandzie,
possibilities
a
here in
wszystkich w ogóle
Rwanda.
zachęcam do
And
tego,
I
żeby
encourage
po prostu
everybody
zobaczyć Rwandę.
just to come and see
Jeżeli
Rwanda.
mają takie
If
możliwości,
they have
jeżeli
such
będą
possibilities,
chcieli wybierać się do
capacities, if
Afryki,
they
na
wish to
pewno
come to Africa,
Rwandę
for
warto
sure
na trasie
Rwanda is
swojej podróży
worth
czy jako cel
visiting
swojej
on the
podróży
route of your
oznaczyć.
journey or as a destination of your journey.
Thank you, President. I think, in fact, your question has already been answered much earlier by President Duda in many things he said. Histories of different people and countries also help to shape societies. And there are a lot of lessons to learn from that. It's only those people who don't learn lessons that get caught up in such a situations that become an impediment to development or to moving forward. So looking at the histories of the two countries, Poland and Rwanda, very difficult histories, if you will, very complex, very challenging, even including tragedies. So with that comparison, and how therefore societies of the two countries have been shaped with time because of what has happened, can be very useful when we relate the way Rwanda is relating with Poland, to make sure that one, we build capacities in different forms. I think you heard President Duda talking about that. Military, security, defense capabilities, capacities at just human level, human development generally, and then economic areas that can also be looked upon to shape our development going forward. So I think there is a lot that we can benefit each other, or we can benefit from. Even if one was to benefit more than the other because of different possibilities that we hold, still the overall expectation is to be able to build it together, build forward, and benefit. So the two countries, based on that background, lessons learned, history, and foundations, can really strengthen ourselves to prevent other tragedies happening to us, or to be able to confront them effectively if they ever happened. But it has to be based on building our understanding of these lessons, and also building our capacities to always overcome whatever difficulties there are. So that's exactly what we need to do in our relationship as two countries.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies, for your valuable time today. Allow me, on behalf of the media, to wish His Excellency President Duda and his delegation a pleasant stay in Rwanda. Our session here has come to a close. Dziękuję.
Dziękuję.
Thank you.